Hi, welcome to another mathematics lesson. My name is Kingsley Linus. In this lesson, we'll be looking at the topic Addition and Subtraction, Part 2. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to add and subtract positive and negative integers on the number line. And finally, you should be able to interpret and relate positive and negative numbers to everyday activities. Recall that in the part 1 of this lesson, we learned about the number line. To refresh our memory, the number line is a vertical or horizontal line on which numbers are represented. Numbers on the right are called positive integers and the numbers on the left are called negative integers. Of course, 0 at the middle is the origin. Also, we can carry out addition and subtraction on the number line. Now, let's go further to see some examples on how we can carry out addition and subtraction. Here, we have an example that says add 2 plus 3 using the number line. Now, we have our number line here, as you can see. The number line has numbers represented on it. Now, to carry out our operation to add 2 and 3, we start from the origin 0. Now, the first step is to move 2 steps in the positive direction. So we move 1, 2 steps. Now, we are at the number 2. The next thing is to add a 3. That is, we start from 2 or we continue from 2 and we move 3 steps still in the positive direction. 1, 2, 3 steps. So, our solution to this problem is 5, positive 5. Now, take note that whenever we move towards the right, we are actually carrying out addition. Now, let's look at another example. In this case, we are subtracting positive integers. In the previous case, we added positive integers. The example says simplify 3 minus 7. Now, to solve 3 minus 7, we will start from 0, being our origin. So, we move 3 steps in the right direction. That is to locate the number positive 3. So, we move 1, 2, and 3. Now, the next thing is to subtract 7. Whenever we are carrying out subtraction, we move in the left direction on the number line. So, from 3, we are going to move 7 steps to the left direction. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So our answer is negative 4. That means 3 minus 7 gives us negative 4. Here we have another example. But looking at this example, there's a little twist to what we already know. Now, the instruction says simplify minus 5 plus minus 3. That means we have 2 negative numbers. We are expected to add 2 negative numbers. Now, the first step to take here is to start from our origin, 0. So, from the origin, we move 5 steps towards the negative direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, at this point, we have a very important decision to make. Looking at the question we have plus minus 3. So, whenever you have unlike signs, for example, negative and positive close to each other, you carry out subtraction. In the same way, whenever you have positive and negative close to each other without being separated by any number, you simply carry out subtraction. Now, let's see how that plays here. We have positive and negative close to each other. So we actually do subtraction. And subtraction means moving towards the left-hand side or towards the negative side of the number line. So we are going to move 3 steps in the negative direction from the point we are. Recall that we stopped at negative 5. So we are going to move 3 steps. 1, 2, and 3. So the solution to this problem is -8. That means -5 plus -3 gives us -8. Here is another example. We are expected to simplify -4 minus -3. Now, in this situation, we are subtracting two negative integers. The first step is to go to our origin, 0, and then we move 4 steps in the negative direction to get -4. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, the next thing to do is that we have two negative signs, that is, having similar signs close to each other. Now, unlike the previous example, when we have two similar signs, for example, positive and positive, we add. And when we have negative and negative, we still add. So, in this situation, we are going to add. In other words, it's like we're now having -4 plus 3. So, the next thing I'm going to do is to move 3 steps in the right direction from 4. So the next thing to do is to move 3 steps to the right direction from the number -4. So we move 1, 2, and 3. So this is our destination, or this is the solution to this problem. So -4 minus -3 is the same thing as -4 plus 3, and that gives us -1. Here is an exercise for you. Do well to pause this video and try out these questions. I'm sure you are done. The instruction says, use the number line to solve the following. Question 1, 2 plus -5. So, if you have drawn your number line correctly and carried out the operation, your answer should be -3. For question 2, we have 5 minus -3. If you have solved this properly, your answer should be 8, +8. And lastly, for question 3, your answer should be -4. If these were your answers, you are correct. Now, let's move on. Daily, we come across positive and negative numbers. Let us look at some illustrations to explain this. First, we have the temperature on a sunny day compared to the temperature inside a freezer. Now, putting these two together, we can consider the temperature of the sunny day as a positive number, while the temperature inside the freezer as a negative number. Next, we have a bird flying in the sky compared to a fish deep in an ocean. Now, the height at which the bird is flying can be considered a positive number, while the depth of the ocean where the fish is swimming can be considered a negative number. Now, let's look at some more examples. Recall that in the part 1 of this lesson, I mentioned that integers are positive and negative whole numbers, including 0. Now, from our number line, you must have heard me using the word origin. Our 0 is called the origin or the starting point. And usually, 0 is always at the middle of the negative and the positive numbers. We have an example. It says, an event was scheduled to take place at 3 p.m. What is the negative time as well as the positive time around this event? Also indicates the 0 hour. Now, to solve this, the negative hour here is the time before the event. For example, 2:59 p.m. So any time before the event is considered a negative time, while any time after 3 p.m. is considered a positive hour. For example, 3:15 p.m. is a positive hour. But the 0 hour is 3 p.m. That is the time the event is due to start. Now, let's look at some words that can be used to express positivity and negativity. I will mention some of the words and then you take note of the rest yourself. First, we have forward as positive and backward as negative. We also have above as positive and below as negative. We have deposit as positive and withdraw as negative. We have before as positive and after as negative. We also have profit as positive and loss as negative. Please do well to take note of these words because you will find them in word problems. Now here is an exercise for you. Let's see how well you understand positive and negative words. Pause the video and try out this exercise. The question says, a map shows that the top of a hill is 200 meters above sea level and the bottom of a lagoon is 15 meters below sea level. Express these distances as distances from sea level. Now, our 200 meters here is positive, while our 15 meters here is negative. For question 2, it says, a straight road runs east-west through a point O. Distances east of O are positive. Distances west of O are negative. Express the position of the following points in terms of positive or negative distance. Now, from the question, distances west of O are negative. So point P is a negative direction. Point Q is a positive direction. And point R is a positive direction. If these were your answers, you are correct. This is where we come to the end of this lesson. But before you go, let's look at what we've learned in a summary. First, we learned that integers are positive and negative whole numbers, but fractions or decimals are not inclusive. Also, we learned that a number line is a line on which numbers are represented. Furthermore, we learned that the number line can be used to add and subtract. We also learned that integers to the right of 0 are positive integers, while integers to the left of 0 are negative integers. And lastly, we learned that there are words we use daily to indicate positive or negative numbers in measuring life activities. It's test time. Question 1. With the aid of a number line, evaluate 7 plus negative 5. A. 12. B. Negative 2. C. 2. D. Negative 12. The correct answer is option C, 2. Question 2 says, 0 hour for a meeting is midday, 12 noon. Which of the following is a positive time? The correct answer is option D. Wow! It was nice having you in my class today. See you again in another interesting mathematics lesson. Bye-bye.